Well, good morning. I'm excited to be joined today for our virtual book club with author Desiree Williams. Every month, we're bringing these incredible opportunities to the citizens and the youth of Augusta, Georgia. And so, as we continue to bring new and up and coming authors, we'll introduce students and parents to new stories, to adventures, and also to new characters. You can stay up to date to our upcoming book club dates by visiting engageaugusta.com. And as I've said on several occasions before, we will be donating copies of every book we read to Augusta libraries and to our schools. And so our book club of the month for June is Brilliant Brown Babies by Desiree Williams. Miss Williams, how are you this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited to have you joining us for the June virtual book club. I know our audience is looking forward to hearing about Brilliant Brown Babies. Uh, as I understand it, Ms. Williams, you're a school psychologist and a mother of a 4-year-old brilliant brown baby. You hold a certification in trauma informed children's yoga and a Master of Arts in school psychology. Ms. Williams also has a passion for educating children on social, emotional, and behavioral skills that will help them reach their highest potential. Desiree is an advocate for diversity and increasing positive images of Black and Brown children in the media. And in her downtime, Desiree enjoys traveling and spending time with her son. Ms. Williams, before you begin reading, I have to ask for the parents out there, what exactly is trauma-informed children's yoga?
So in order to explain trauma-informed children's yoga, I just want to talk a little bit about trauma. So most, if not all, children have experienced some type of traumatic event. And unfortunately, some children experience recurring traumatic events in close succession. And there are some children who experience recurring memories of those traumatic events. And when our bodies experience a traumatic event, it gives off a hormone or several hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine. And that's our body's natural reaction to those events, which is a good thing. It's kind of the fight or flight response that a lot of us know about. But when those hormones are given off at an abnormal rate because of experiencing a number of traumatic events, it can cause dysregulation in our bodies. And in children, that can manifest as inattention, behavioral concerns, difficulties with memory in the classroom, sleep concerns, all types of different things that can affect a child. So trauma-informed children's yoga has been proven through a number of studies to help regulate your body in a couple of ways. So the first way is that it gives the child autonomy during the yoga experience. So for example, if a child or the rest of the class is meditating sitting up, the child would be allowed to lay down if that's more comfortable for them. It also encourages mindfulness. So it encourages the child to be present in the moment and focus on their breathing and on the pose that they're doing, as opposed to thinking about the past and trauma they may have experienced in the past, or anxiety about future events. And lastly, it focuses on breathing and relaxation techniques to help regulate your body. So that's how trauma-informed yoga is a little different from typical yoga that we all know.
That's fantastic. It sounds quite intense as well. I appreciate you sharing that with us. I better understand that as well now. Before you again go into reading the book, what inspired you to write this particular book?
So I read with my son every night. I've been doing it since he was a baby, our bonding activity together. And I found it hard to find books with characters that looked like him, but that were also like fun and engaging and dealt with topics that little people could relate to. So I wrote the book that I was looking for. And it started off as just kind of a passion project for my son, because I've always enjoyed writing and drawing. And I started sharing some of the things that some of the images that I was drawing and things with my mother, who's been an educator for over 30 years, and my late father. And they were like, this might actually be something that a lot of people would enjoy. So I started doing research on just children's publication in general and decided to put it out. And it's really become such a passion of mine. So
That's great.
yeah.
Again, we're excited about having you here for our June virtual book club. And I'm looking forward to, as I know the audience is, hearing about Brilliant Brown Babies. And with that, I'll turn it over to you to read.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. So this is Brilliant Brown Babies. Brilliant brown babies have curly, curly hair. Brilliant brown babies always care and share. Brilliant brown babies are smart, smart, smart. Brilliant brown babies love to make art. Brilliant brown babies dance to the beat. Brilliant brown babies really move their feet. Brilliant brown babies eat yummy, yummy food. Brilliant brown babies can change your mood. Brilliant brown babies know their history. Brilliant brown babies' roots are rich in victory. Brilliant brown babies have beautiful skin. Brilliant brown babies have sun-kissed melanin. Brilliant brown babies come from kings and queens. Brilliant brown babies are proud of the red, black, and green. Brilliant brown babies have friends that are kind. Brilliant brown babies always shine. And that's the end.
Fantastic, Desiree. I'm excited about that, and thank you for that. Brilliant Brown Babies. Our audience, I know, has thoroughly enjoyed that. I want to ask you just a few more questions about it. What inspired you to write this story? Again, I know you talked about not only inspiration, but as you think about the challenges that you had to overcome, what was one of the key challenges that you had overcome while writing this book?
I think two of the biggest challenges, well, the first one would probably just be being new to the publishing world and having to learn about Photoshop and InDesign and different, drawing programs and things like that. But just being so lucky to be in this day and age where there's Google and YouTube and you can really teach yourself almost anything. And then the second challenge would be publishing during the time of COVID. I didn't really get to do a traditional book signing and tour with events and things like that. But it was a challenge, but also a blessing in disguise because it opened up a network of people virtually and events virtually that I may not have been able to do in a traditional sense just because of scheduling and cost and things like that. So challenges, but blessings in disguise.
That's fantastic. Let me ask you this. Do you plan on doing an in-person book signing sometime in the future?
I would like to, as things are starting to open up. I just finished my second book that I'm in the process of formatting, and have some other projects that I'd like to kind of get on the ground. So hopefully, as things are opening up and we're all getting, vaccinated and things like that, that I'll be able to do some in-person things one day.
That's great. We look forward to hearing more about that in the days ahead. I have another question, and that is, how would you suggest that parents of Black and Brown children reinforce positive imagery as they grow up?
Um, I think that it's important to just really be conscious of what you are presenting to your children, because even if you think they're not watching or listening, even as young as 2 years old, they definitely are. So just being really conscious about monitoring what they're looking at on YouTube and on TV. And when they come across negative images of people that look like them, really having an open conversation and using that as a teaching moment of, why those images may look that way. But as far as positive representation, like I said, just being conscious about what you're presenting, looking for books of characters, the children who look like your children, but also different than your children. There's a huge network right now of African-American authors, especially with self-publishing being more popular. So just doing a Google search, there's a lot of different books with characters of all different cultures to give to your child, and even down to the toys that you pick out for your child. I think now more so than in years past, there's just so many different things. We have Barbies with afros, we have Black Panther action figures, and so just really making sure that you really just pump that positivity into your children, because as we know, the world is not always kind to Black and Brown children. So, really instilling that self-confidence and pride and self-image is important to do at home early on.
I agree with that. Again, those positive reinforcements and images, they really begin at home. We certainly can have a right and a righteous expectation of others, as the young people say, the golden rule. But it's so important for us to instill in our own children, Black and Brown communities, of how valued and valuable not only we are, but our children are as well. So I thank you for that. What advice would you give aspiring writers? You're on your second book and you're moving to publishing that. What advice would you share with our audience who may desire to write a book and have it published?
My advice is very simple. It would just be to do it. I mean, I think now more than ever, it's more accessible to do those things. No longer do you need like an agent and a publishing company. I published my book through a company called Ingram Spark, and they self-publish a lot of books for self-published authors. So if you have an idea, like I said, there's Google, there's YouTube to teach yourself different things about how to publish and how to format and things like that. So my advice would really be to just go for it.
Great. What advice not only do you give aspiring writers, what if you got young people who want to write? It sounds elusive, but we've talked over the last several months to really young writers. What would you tell young writers?
I would say to keep doing it. Just keep practicing your craft. Make sure you carve out time for yourself every day to practice that and, develop your writing skills. And that goes for anything. If you're a singer or you're into dancing or acting or anything like that, I would say, really make sure that you take time to focus on your passions and the things that make you happy.
Great. Where can people purchase a copy of your book? I think that's the question that we all want to know. Where can they purchase copies of your book?
Um, the I think the easiest way to purchase it would probably be Amazon, but it's also at barnesandnobles.com. It's at target.com, walmart.com. But Amazon is the largest distributor, and if you have Prime, it comes fast. So
Fantastic. I really appreciate that. Again, Ms. Williams, we want to thank you for joining us for the June Virtual Book Club. The mayor's office and all of our audience, parents as well as our children, are incredibly excited and proud that you were able to share your time with them this month. I'm Mayor Hardy Davis, and next month we will be reading The Coolest Birthday Ever by son and mother duo Bo and Vicky Shell. Have a great Juneteenth weekend. And again, thank you, Ms. Williams, for joining us.
thank you.